What's going on, guys? Scotty Sparks here, bringing you my battle, the finals of the losing bracket to see who advances to face Mike, coach of the Phil's Tits. Or did he move it to his showdown got banned, so I think he moved it to Phil's ass. It was hilarious. But yeah, the winner of this match moves on. Check my team builder out if you want to see kind of what I'm going with this match. I kind of built this team knowing that he was like I was like 95% sure that Azelf, Whimsicott, and Lopunny would all make an appearance. The other three could be interchangeable, but I knew one of them would have to deal with Thunderous T, so Heatran, Florges, Kyurem, stuff like that could have been a possibility. And he might have went Florges here because I showed I didn't have Sludge Wave last match, so he probably was like trying to like take advantage of that, which I did too. Like I built this Cobalion specifically because I realized his Kyurem did not have Earth Power on it. His Heatran did not have any fire moves. It only had Flash Cannon. So I figured Cobalion was going to be such a great addition to this match. But let's just get into it, and I'll show you what happens. So going from my team builder, I say that I brought Ariados for the specific reason of not leading it, because so many people lead webs. And looking at his team, there's no hazard removal. So a Sash Ariados just automatically gets webs up. So he could be leading anything here from Lopunny to get the fake out to Whimsicott, or Azelf. Azelf gets taunt. Whimsicott gets taunt, I think, and then Heatran I think gets taunt too. So like any of these three were his major leads. I didn't really see Florges being a lead, and I didn't really see Mega Lopunny being a lead like that early. I feared it being one of his only one of his only offensive Pokemon. It was kind of like something he'd save. So we'll go. He leads Heatran, and I lead Drapion. So just exactly what I wanted, and an easy Earthquake here. Packed it just for that reason, and I'm actually Mental Herb. Did I show you that in the team builder? Yeah, I didn't go over it. So yeah, I didn't go over why I was Mental Herb. I just couldn't think of an item, and I'm like, you know what? What if he has like Encore? Like I don't want him encoring me into like Earthquake and then or knockoff or something and then playing around because he did it last match. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just sitting here. I'm like, yo, go for the please go for the Encore. You died of this poison jab. He goes for the U-turn, and obviously I'm going for the poison jab. Get a bit of luck here, and right now that it's poisoned and it's a bit weakened, Cobalion in this scenario, once if I can get webs up, and if I weaken. I need to weaken Florges a little bit, but I mainly need to get rid of Azelf and Seismitoad. Or get a Rock Polish up. So it's Webs or Rock Polish, and Cobalion pretty much wins this game. It takes out Megalop. Heatran with my Titanium Z doesn't do much. Does like 50% to a defensive Florges, and it almost OHKOs an HP invested Whimsicott. So going in, this poison's nice for that reason. And right now, like, there's no point in me staying in. I have Chestnut. I'm just going to switch out. He gets his Rocks up, which is a really good play, because now it breaks my Sash on Ariados, which at this point I was kind of nervous. I'm like, oh, fuck, I probably should have brought Blastoise. I figured out later that there was a reason that Blastoise could have screwed me over this match, but now Thunderous T and Mamo, that's one of their issues, is they take 25% from Rocks. Or no, Mamo only takes 12. But in this match, I was like, oh crap, Mamo's gonna take a lot of damage from rocks, and it prevented me from really using Thunderous T as much. And here, I just know like there's no point of me staying in Chestnut here because he's got so many switch-ins to Chestnut that I can't touch, and he's not gonna stay in with Seismitoad. So I go into like Drapion's my more expendable of everything, but at the end of the day, it's something that pressures a lot of his team, a lot of the switch-ins that would switch into Chestnut, which would be the Azelf and the Whimsicott, or even the Florges, I guess, could switch in. So I go into it, put some more pressure, and again, I'm just going to go for the knockoff this time. I don't think he's going to stay in. He showed that this was a switch-in. I'll play it more safe. And if he decides to Mental Herb me, then he can go for that. And this gives me a free switch into Ariados. More of like, I didn't want to go Chestnut, and I didn't want And I was looking at my team. At this point, I'm like, you know what? Aryados can be a sack here. Um, that's what I was thinking. And he switches out, and I get my webs up. I don't know why he switched out, but this was a good point for just. It was just like I didn't really want to attack, so I like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna throw my webs up, which messes up with his team a lot. And I did the roll. I mean, I did the calc for that. Like a non boosting item, as elf max attack does like 75 minimum. So I was at like those rocks were helpful there, just because if I was at like any higher health, it could have been a roll, and he could have died to a megahorn. But here, I know from last match he exited and I killed him with pursuit, and I know Brandon well enough that like I didn't think he was gonna switch, and I didn't bring pursuit for that reason. If I because in this situation, I saw what's gonna happen next. Um, I've seen like when I was every time I look at the team builder, I'm like, this point in the match when I get Drapion versus Elf, he's gonna stay in and try to set up, and I'm just gonna go for the knockoff. And he goes. I live the hit, no burn. Luckily, that 10%. And this is a Scarf user, which means Heatran probably isn't a Scarf user, which is nice. And here I stay in because now I'm too weak, and like I'm gonna like once with rocks, with fake out from Lopunny. Drapion's pretty much done at this point, so I decide I'm just gonna throw my Toxic Spikes up. At this point, I'm still going with the Cobalion win here, so I need these to be like chipped just a little bit, and I take on the rest of his play or his team fairly easy. And here could have been a misplay on my part. At first, I clicked Iron Head. I'm like, oh, Iron Head's gonna do enough. The calc to a defensive Seismitoad was 11 to 13, so there was a chance I do not kill him here. So I was debating, like, I had two options. I close combat or I sword stance. So close combat, what it does is it puts pressure on his, like, it kills it, obviously, but it lowers my defenses so that Florges could do, like, 80% with a Moonblast, instead of, like, the 50 that I would normally do. Same with Whimsicott. They'd hit around that mark. I'd have to rely on flinching. There is something that happens here that I kind of overlook later in the match, but he's gonna die to poison. So I decide to go with the sword stance because one of three options would happen. Either for some reason I guess he switches out, and I get my sword stance. He goes for the skull, does about 30%, and either he burns me or he doesn't. If he burns me, I'm still at regular attack. If he doesn't burn me, I'm double attack with like 70% health. Plus, I don't have a reduced defense. So, and then if he goes for the Earth Power here, it's going to do like 70, but I'm still going to live it. And at this point, he goes for the Earth Power, does about it does a whole bunch of damage, but I'm still alive, taking the bulk. So here, the only thing I overlooked was he could have gone Whimsicott and encored me into SD, but what happens there is he encores me into Sword Stance, he U-turns out, and I switch out. But I still have full health. Not full health. I still have my full attack, so I can. All I need to do is just. I just need to weaken his Florges a little bit, and then Ironhead does like 56 to like 70. So he goes here, and I go for the close combat. It just made more sense to go close combat. I should have calculated to see if Ironhead killed, because right now he goes in the encore. But because I'm at such a high health, close combat just does so much. It does 56%, and I'm lowering all my defenses, but he can't live a second hit unless he has like Synthesis. But even then I'll eventually just be on Encored. I'm doing more than Synthesis could heal, especially with those Toxic Spikes up. And here I know I have two options. I can switch out or stay in, but I didn't really want to switch out, and I'm just gonna throw off my my Z move. It's gonna put him in because at this point, once I broke down the majority of his team, I realized that Mamo just wins from here. So I just got as much chip damage as I could on Florges. And then Mamo's going to come in here, and now he sweeps the EQ. Only thing that can prevent this is a Scarf Heatran. But even then, I don't think he deals with Thunder's Tea, and he's not Scarf, so we take the win. So last game, I actually lost the game because I didn't defog with Lottie. So I come in at 88%, and he's faster than me because I was running low speed. And he one-shots me, and it would have been it was a 50-50 roll with the rocks. Without the rocks, I lived at 100%. So I was so mad at myself that I made that mistake. So it's kind of it's kind of nice that the same situation happened this match, Heatran versus Mamo, and to see Mamo be faster. But yeah, it was a really good game. I know Brandon doesn't like rematches, especially so close. Um, and to be fair, like I had such a hard time team building. I went through. I basically what I did was I went through what he has brought both times and what he needs to bring to take on my team. So Megalop, um, Whimsicott, and those are two Pokemon that I don't really. I have to ask him why he brought them because like it makes sense that Whimsicott it's a good Pokemon, but I don't know what it was specifically there for. And same with Lopunny, just because like I don't feel Lopunny does that great versus my team, but it definitely takes on Thundurus. Um, and I understand why he's brought it all three matches is because if I need the coverage on Thunder's T, an electric move, and then I have four it has four spot syndrome because it's like Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, Grass Knot, and Sludge Wave. But with Nasty Plot, it makes it a lot more effective. So I need to take out one of those four Nasty Plot, and I can't really afford to take out. I need at least three of those four, so I can't really add agility to the mix. But I didn't bring a Nasty Plot. I brought the Wise Lenses, um, the Momentum, Thunder's Tea. But I figured I didn't need Nasty Plot this match, and luckily I didn't even use Thunder's Tea. It stayed in the bench. Uh, but yeah, it was a great match. So yeah, I just kind of figured out exactly and then I was looking at my other two games I played against him, and I'm like, okay, what here worked, what here didn't, and I realized that Thunder's Tea is a big Pokemon I had to bring. Mamoswine was a must. Drapion was a must because he loves bringing Whimsicott against me. Oh, it's probably a Lottie. It's probably for Mega Latios. But yeah, so like I knew I needed those three, and then from there I needed something to take on Megalop, which Chestnut was a good option. I debated bringing Blastoise, but he said his Florges was meant to set up on my Blastoise, so I'm kind of happy I didn't bring it. Although the rocks were kind of annoying, and it made Thunderous T kind of like, it kind of like neutered him. And then I kind of thought, I'll throw the combination of Cobalion and Ariados here with the webs was great. I didn't realize how effective it would have been, because like he still had his elf, and I was like, oh, like his elf doesn't really get affected by it, and his team's so fast, and like he's either really fast or really slow. But it just showed like I was like 5 turns in, I'm like, wait, Cobalion just wins this match with webs up, because like his team was just so weak to it. But yeah, it's nice to make it to the finals. Mike's a very hard opponent to beat. He has a very scary team. Mega Mawile, Lando, Zygarde, Primarina, those are definitely things to fear. So it's going to be interesting how that goes. Hopefully I can pull out the win, but I need to pull out 2 wins. So I think I can beat him once. I don't think I can beat him twice, but I'm going to prep as hard as I can. Talk to Steven about it, talk to Brandon and Mark about it, and see what I can do. My team is kind of weak to his team too. I don't have the greatest matchup, but we'll see. I'm going to sign off. I will see you at the finals. Hopefully it's 2 matches, and hopefully both are wins by me, because it'd be nice to win this league.